Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today, I have a very special treat. So, I always watch boxing with my dad, my guy right here.
That's moi.
Yes, sir. So, I decided, or I've had a few people ask me about making a podcast with my dad, and I thought it was a good idea. But first off, I wanted to do a video with him to see how it would go. And what's big right now in boxing is pound for pound list. So I figured we have differing opinions on the pound for pound list. Not too different. I feel like right now the pound for pound list is it's kind of all the
Kind of
same.
fixed almost.
What do you mean?
Set in stone almost.
What do you mean? Like everyone knows
It's the same
people?
people from month to month.
Yeah, yeah. So I wanted to do a video on his pound for pound list and my pound for pound list, and I thought that'd just be a great idea for a video. And if it goes well, we'll see about maybe doing a podcast because my dad's been here the whole way through my boxing journey since I was 14, watching Pacquiao, Bradley 3. So we wanted to do our pound for pound list. It is June 27th at the time of filming this. So this is our July 2025 pound for pound list. I'm going to give my number 10, he's going to give his number 10, and then we're just going to go like that. So first off, my number 10 is Junto Nakatani. Junto Nakatani, we were just talking about how if he fights Inoue in Japan, we want to go see that because that will be one of the best fights in boxing. And I feel like I totally random shout out. His knockout over Maloney is one of the best knockouts I've ever seen. I know you keep forgetting about Nakatani.
Yeah, I haven't seen him
Yeah.
once.
Yeah, I've been, because it's so early in Japan.
Usually the fights come on at 3:00 in the morning here.
Yeah, they do. So he hasn't watched a ton of Junto Nakatani, but he definitely knows of him. I don't think Nakatani could be Inoue, but the run he's been on recently, and he is a champion, I feel like Junto Nakatani has to be mentioned in the top 10 pound for pound, and I think he's a great fighter. I don't think he's going to beat Inoue. I'd love to see the fight. I'd love to go to Japan for the fight. But, yeah, so that's my number 10, Junto Nakatani. What is your number 10?
My number 10 is Bakram
Murtazalia.
Murtazaliev.
Yes.
I saw the fight with him and Tim Tszyu,
Mhm.
and he completely disassembled Tim Tszyu, just pummeled him from start to finish. Very impressed by the guy. I think he's got a big future.
Yeah, that's a good pick. The 154 division is stacked right now. I know there's another 154 guy you got on your list that I'm not going to say yet, but you got Bakram, you got Virgil, you got Boachuk, you got Madrimov. 154 is a completely stacked division.
Loaded.
Yes, it is. It is loaded. So that's an interesting pick. I feel like he is a champion. He's under Aegis Klimas management, which is the guy who managed Lomachenko, Usyk. So that guy only accepts like the best fighters. So that's how you know he's really good. I didn't put him on there. I would probably say he's top 15 for me, maybe like 14 or 15. I feel like the top 7 right now in boxing pound for pound is quite obvious. The top 7's like all the same names, but like 7 through 10, there's not really. It's really a pick 'em because there's only 7 guys right now that you can really say are pound for pound material. But number 10, I got Boots Ennis. And I know that may surprise some people, but we saw Boots against Stanionis recently.
You mean number 9, right?
Did I say 10?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean number 9. Boots
Okay.
Ennis.
Confusing me.
Yeah. Boots Ennis, number 9. I know you don't like the name, Boots. I think it's kind of goofy.
Kind of girly.
Kind of girly. But Boots is a dog. Boots is a great fighter. I know it may be a bit early to say that, but like I said, this 7 through 10, it's really pick 'em. Like he picked Bakram Murtazaliev, which is totally a valid choice. But Boots Ennis, I feel like he's at 154 right now. Oh my gosh, he just moved up 154, so that's even more stacked division now. That's the most stacked division in boxing. But Boots Ennis, it's gonna be. I feel like he might be pound for pound number 1 pound for pound number 1 one day. But right now I got him number 9. And what's your number 9?
My number 9 is Canelo Alvarez. Probably the last time I'll ever have to have him on a pound for pound list.
Okay, yeah.
He's approaching the end at some point here. He's such a good defensive fighter and avoids punches so well that he could probably hang around for a bit longer, but I think he's approaching the end of his career.
That's a W. Canelo's on my list. We have not liked Canelo in his career because Gennady Golovkin was our favorite fighter, and Gennady Golovkin beat him twice. We will stand 10 toes down on that forever, that Gennady Golovkin beat Canelo Alvarez twice.
Alvarez is always the A fighter, so wherever he's fighting it's a Mexican crew and a Mexican crowd, and the crowd just forces everything in his direction. But he's won his stuff legitimately, mostly.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm kind of tired of seeing. I'd like to see somebody take him out.
And that's what you think Crawford's going to do to him.
I think Crawford will knock him out.
You think knock him? Okay,
Yeah.
I don't think that, because we've seen how Canelo's chin, and Canelo's never been dropped. Fought Gennady Golovkin, got hit so many times, never been dropped. I don't think Crawford's going to stop him though. But we're going to see.
Well, my boy, who was it that Crawford beat?
Errol Spence.
Errol Spence. My boy Errol Spence didn't have any bad fights either, but
Yeah, it's true, but
Bud made him look terrible.
that's true. That's true. That's true.
And I think he's going to do the same with Alvarez.
That's gonna be good. You're good at. He's good at this. This is why this was a good idea, because he like father, like son. Even though we have a little bit of differing opinions, we definitely feel the same on some aspects. And number 8, we got David Benavidez. We actually met David Benavidez. What would you say about meeting him? He was a super nice guy.
Couldn't be nicer.
Yeah, super super nice guy.
Gentle, friendly.
Personable.
I asked him, would you please just beat Canelo? And he said, I'm planning on it.
And then I wanted to say to him, I don't think Canelo's gonna fight you. I don't think Canelo's going to fight him. But what David Benavidez has been on recently, and also I didn't tell you, his brother got tested positive for cocaine, Jose, recently. So I might have told you that. I can't remember. But David Benavidez, he's a dog. I feel at 175, the win over Morrell, the undefeated David Morrell guy, that was a great win. I know David Morrell is kind of inexperienced, but we saw that fight. He got dropped by a punch that was on his shoulder. And even though he won like a decision and he fought Gvozdyk, a fight that I saw in Las Vegas, David Benavidez, I think he'll beat Canelo due to styles, and I know you do too.
I do too.
And
I got Benavidez on my list, but he's a little higher up.
He's a little higher up. He's a little higher up. So for me, 10, Junto Nagatani, 9, Boots Ennis, and 8, David Benavidez. And then your number 8, tell him who you got.
Virgil Ortiz. I think Virgil is a real animal. Lots of speed, lots of power, lots of stamina. I think he's got, if he can keep from overworking himself and keep himself, making the weight regularly, I think there's nothing but blue sky ahead for him.
Yeah, I'm actually close with Virgil. That's the guy. We had a little bit of a back and forth for a little while. Me and Virgil, we were really close, and then it was kind of wonky for a second. But no, Virgil Ortiz, I talk to him all the time. He is such a He doesn't seem like because whenever I talk to him, he doesn't want to talk boxing. He wants to talk about just like music, or he loves metal music. He wants to talk about music, video games. But Virgil really is a dog in the ring. And one thing I always tell people about his heart rate is like 30. His resting heart rate is like 30. And
he's like a dolphin.
He's like a dolphin, exactly. He's like a dolphin. Virgil Ortiz, I don't think he's been a champion technically, so I wouldn't put him on my pound for pound list. But the names he's beat, Madrimov and Boachuk, his last two, those are fantastic. And I feel like the sky's the limit for Virgil. I feel like it really is. And he's a good guy. He's a great fighter. And I think he's definitely going to be on the pound for pound list soon. So number 7, I got Canelo Alvarez. I feel like obviously, he hasn't got a knockout since 2021 when he fought Caleb Plant. We watched that fight. It was the same night that Dexter Newblood came back on Showtime, November 6, 2021. I remember that. And it was a close fight a little bit. And then Canelo came back, round 11, got Caleb Plant.
He's fighting pretty defensively since Bivol disassembled him.
Yeah, I mean,
he's not as aggressive as he used to be.
You were out of town working for that fight, and I remember I was at home by myself, and I was telling everyone how Bivol was going to beat Canelo just due to styles. Look, Canelo's a great fighter, and but he's declining. He's declining over time, for sure. He's been doing this since he was 15 years old,
Yeah.
He fought Canelo at 23, which is my age, and right now I still feel like a baby mentally, so that's crazy to even think about. So even though he was born 1990, so I think Canelo's 35. Even though he's 35, which isn't that old for a fighter, it is for some guys. But in terms of what he's done, been doing this for so long, I feel like he's so old now, and I feel
got a lot of rounds on him.
I mean, look, he hasn't got a knockout since Caleb Plant. He should have knocked out Edgar Berlanga. Should have knocked out like every guy he's fought since then. We didn't even see the William Skoll. I didn't even see the William Skoll fight because I fell asleep. I wasn't that interested. That's the first Canelo fight I never saw in, I probably want to say 10 years. I've seen every Canelo fight since then. But Canelo, I think this is gonna be his last time on the pound for pound list. But number 7, tell him who you got.
Number 7, I got Bam.
Bam Rodriguez, baby.
Love Bam Rodriguez. We saw him live at the Canelo
Triple G
third fight.
Yeah.
In San Antonio,
Vegas.
in Vegas, and he was pretty unimpressive that fight. He had a guy that had a real odd style.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't land a lot of punches. The guy would hold a lot, but the guy fought a brilliant fight. But Bam's got the power, got the energy, got a good coaching team. I think he'll stay on the pound for pound list for quite some time.
He fought Juan Francisco Estrada. I don't know if you remember that fight. He got dropped. You remember him getting dropped?
Yeah.
And the whole fight, he was dominating Estrada, and everyone thought it was going to be a close fight. He dominated, and then he got dropped with a 1-1-2 by Estrada. He got up, literally came back, won the round, and then stopped him with a body shot. And I feel like a lot of people take getting dropped seriously. They take it a little too serious because, I mean, not everyone's Gennady Golovkin. Not everyone's going to go their entire career without getting knocked down. And he came back, and I believe he's 115. He's either 115 or 118 right now. And I don't think he'll beat Inoue. I just don't. I rate Bam highly, but I think Inoue is just a little too much for him. And Bam's
a lot too much.
A lot too much. Yeah, Bam's he's only 25, so he's just a little bit older than me. Bam really is a great fighter, and that's actually my number 6.
I agree, he's a great fighter, but Inoue is like from another planet.
Yeah, and we'll get to Inoue. But my number 6 is Jesse Rodriguez. I'm pretty sure he said everything that you could possibly say about Jesse Rodriguez. I'd love to get that interview with him. I could possibly get an interview with him off to see. But Jesse Rodriguez, Bam Rodriguez, I don't know what else to say. We've seen so many of his fights, and it does hit super hard for a guy that's that small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got a short little punching stroke.
Mm-hmm.
It hits a lot harder than it looks.
Yeah. All right. And then, so I got through my 10 through 6, and then your that's number 6? Yeah. All right.
Benavidez.
You always say Benavidez.
I always add a syllable.
Yeah.
He deserves extra.
Yeah, okay, so tell me what you think about David Benavidez.
I think he's an animal. I think he's fast. The combinations come hard and frequent. His angles are great. His accuracy is great. And Canelo didn't want to fight him, I think.
No, he doesn't want to fight him at all.
So we were hoping for that fight to really establish Benavidez, but he'll beat just about anybody that he fights. He sounds like he's heading in the direction of fight either Bivol or Beterbiev. Now those are going to be a tall order for either side of that card.
I think Beterbiev, and that's my number 5 actually, Artur Beterbiev. So Artur Beterbiev, we have been so different. Okay, we think so differently because I love Bivol. I love Bivol so much. And he loves Beterbiev so much, and we argue all the time because I said to him when we're doing this pound for pound list, you cannot put Beterbiev above Bivol. I know, but he's like, they're 1-1, they're tied. But I'm like, the champion right now is Bivol, so you got to give it to him. I feel Bivol won both fights against Beterbiev, and let me just talk about Beterbiev for a second. He has knocked out every guy not named Dimitri Bivol. He's knocked out every single guy, and he's 40. He's 40 years old. So and the way he brutally knocks people out, I think one of the most impressive fights I've ever seen, and I remember we were so shocked when we were hearing this, Joe Smith Jr.
Oh my God.
Joe Smith Jr. versus Artur Beterbiev.
I thought he was going to cry.
No, yeah, it was bad.
He was shocked at how hard he was getting hit.
Yeah, and it was, this Joe Smith guy's never been knocked down, not even as an amateur, and he thought he could stand there and be toe-to-toe and be tough with him because that's what he did with everybody. I mean, he did the same thing with Zurdo Ramirez, who's like a cruiserweight now, and Joe Smith, after losing to Beterbiev, he went 10 rounds and lost to Zurdo Ramirez. But I'm telling you, Beterbiev's power literally made his body move. Like, he got hit so hard that his whole body crumbled. That's the way the knockdowns look, and I always talk about this. The knockdowns, his knees barely touched, and he was taking knees from getting hit so hard in the head. You've never seen that before. And Artur Beterbiev, he does have a win over Bivol. I think he could beat Bivol in the third fight possibly. I'm leaning towards Bivol to win the third fight, and I know Dad's leaning towards Beterbiev winning the third fight. But they're two super close fights, and I feel like, just talking about David Benavidez, I feel like he'll have an easier time with Bivol than he will with Beterbiev.
Absolutely.
Because
he keeps his hands low, and he takes a lot of shots because he can. But I don't think you want to stand there and take shots from Beterbiev.
No, that's absolutely right. And number 5, I think we're tied for number 5. Yeah, we both have Beterbiev at number 5. What do you have to say about Beterbiev?
Can't say much more. You hear guys that sparred with him say it's like getting hit by a car.
Exactly. Yes.
I mean, so I don't know anybody else who's had anything like that kind of power. I love Foreman. Loved the Acorn, Ernie Shavers.
Yeah, Ernie
They
Shavers.
had lots of power, but compared to Beterbiev's stroke is so short.
Like his punch, you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's only traveling like 8 inches, and guys are crumbling. So he's my favorite fighter. Oh, him or Inoue are my favorite fighters right now. But looking forward to the rubber match.
Yeah.
And claiming permanently the crown for Beterbiev.
I don't think so. But I know we disagree on that. I was so watching the second fight. I don't know if you remember the first 3 rounds. It was like Bivol, and that's what happened the first fight. Like Bivol won the first round, and then I don't know if you remember this in the second fight. We have little beanbag chairs over there. We watched the fight, and I was literally like watching the fight because Bivol was getting beat up so bad in the middle rounds. I have no clue how he withstood it. Like I was like, okay, it's over. I think this is too much because Beterbiev turned it on, and then Bivol came back, which was so impressive to me. So impressive to me. But number 4, you got to have these guys right next to each other, Bivol and Beterbiev.
Those two guys not only are some of the greatest fighters of this era, they're some of the smartest fighters. You know, they're both brilliant. They both are completely dedicated. And I was so impressed when Bivol lost the first time, and he got interviewed, and he says, look, the interviewer was trying to give him an excuse or a way out, and he didn't want to have any. It's my fault. I wasn't prepared. I didn't do enough. That's a man. You stand up and take your medicine and come back and show him next time, which he did. So it sets the stage for just a terrific rubber match.
I know you like Bivol too because after the post-fight interview, he stayed for the interview. Like I was like screaming when Bivol won. I got my reaction on video. I was screaming. I was like, Bivol did it, and because I didn't think he was going to. Like I picked Bivol to win, and then like round 4 or 5, I was thinking, Dad was right. But he stayed for the interview, and I'm like, usually if a guy
I don't usually watch interviews.
Watch
I
interviews.
don't care much for him, but
No, but I was so happy when Bivol won because I mean, if you were him, you could totally give an excuse that you won that fight.
oh, absolutely. But he didn't.
Yeah, I know.
He
but
was a man. He took the judge's decision as fact and proceeded to get better and return the beating the next time to Beterbiev.
And now that I really think about it, the only guy to beat Beterbiev would be Bivol. I don't think, and we're about to get to Usyk here soon. I do not think that even if I feel, because they fought in the Olympics, Beterbiev and Usyk, and I know there's a big weight gap now. Literally, Beterbiev dropped him with a body shot, Usyk, with a body shot in the Olympics with like headgear on, big gloves, and I feel due to style wise, I know that's like 40 pounds in weight now. I feel like Beterbiev could beat Usyk, and I know that's crazy. I know that's crazy, but Beterbiev, I feel like the only guy that's gonna beat him is Bivol because Bivol's defense is so good and he's moving around the ring the entire time. That's the only reason why. And when Bivol was asked about his power, he said, "Yeah, he hits hard," but he wasn't talking about it was being in a car crash because he was moving the whole time and he got rid of the impact. And I remember round 12 in the second fight, Bivol got lazy. He got hit with the right hand, right in the eye. Opened like a vagina on his eye. It was such a big cut on his eye. And it just shows how powerful Beterbiev is, even at this age. And I think Benavidez is in tough company. I feel like Benavidez could possibly beat Bivol due to styles, but I'm not 100% sure that he could beat Beterbiev, even though I rate Bivol higher. But, yeah.
Well, Beterbiev gets a lot of stoppages. I mean, like TKOs, doesn't he? I mean, because he usually makes the guy quit.
Yeah.
Because he's pummeling him, you know, with those combinations. He'll hit 6, 7, 8 shot combinations. But, you know, you look at fighting somebody like Usyk. Usyk's getting older, doesn't show it, has tremendous stamina, has tremendous movement, great power. But, you know, sadly, I'm kind of thinking he's approaching the gate.
Oh, no. I think the fight, he's fighting Daniel Dubois in next month. The rematch between Daniel Dubois, and we'll talk about Usyk in a second. Because we're at the top 3 now, and this is gone. I feel like we've done a great job explaining everything so far. So number 3, this was really tough because I feel like you can switch any of the top 3. I have Terrence Crawford at number 3, and Terrence Crawford I'm picking to beat Canelo. I feel like when he beats Canelo, I feel like he's gonna beat Canelo in in a close fight, I actually think it'll be close. I think Canelo will try to make it competitive. Crawford's going to be careful, but I think he'll beat Canelo in like a 8-4, 7-5 type fight. But Bud, his resume isn't great. He's beat Spence and Madrimov, and that's really it. But you can't really blame him because so many guys didn't want to fight him in his career, you know. A lot of guys didn't want to fight Bud in his career. Like you had Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman didn't want to fight him. Manny Pacquiao, who's at the end of his career, didn't want to fight him. But Bud, I rate so highly. I was picking Bud to beat Spence when that fight happened, and you weren't.
No,
and,
I was on Spence's side.
And I always talk about that fight, even to this day. I'll post on Twitter because that was one of the best boxing performances we've ever seen. Because Spence was pound for pound.
I loved Spence, and watching that fight was like finding out there's no Santa Claus.
that's a great comparison.
Just destroyed him.
It was bad. He dropped every round he got hit, like the replay, slow motion, blood coming out of his face, and he hasn't fought since then. But shout out Spence because I know Spence is a good guy and all that stuff, but that was just incredible. I still cannot get over that. And immediately they said Inoue, when the same week that Inoue fought Stephen Fulton, the best win of his career to date, he destroyed Stephen Fulton, and the same week Crawford was fighting Spence, we said, okay, no way Crawford can beat Spence in that fashion, and he beat him worse fashion than Inoue did Fulton. But my number 3 is Terrence Crawford. Who's your number 3?
My number 3 is Usyk.
Usyk, okay.
Yeah. I'd like to have him higher, but like I say, I think he's approaching the end of his career. I hope he's not. It seems to be all the newer heavyweights are super heavyweights.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
like 6'9".
Yeah, what's he, like 220?
Yeah, Usyk's 6'3". He's 6'3", which is kind of short for a heavyweight today.
And 220?
Yeah, 220.
And he's fighting guys like Chang, who's a big Chinese guy.
Zhang. He didn't fight Zhang yet.
But I'm saying
fighting guys like Zhang.
Guys like that are 6'8"
and like 100 pounds.
Yeah,
like Fury. I feel like the Fury fight really solidified his status as being great because I remember you were picking Fury to win that fight, and a lot of people did. And I thought Fury was going to win the rematch, but I picked Usyk to win the first fight because people thought he's just so small, he's a cruiserweight. But Usyk really is special. And
I never picked anybody against Usyk.
I thought, no, the first fight you were like, it's close. Fury could be in
I thought it might be
6'9".
close, but I figured Usyk. Yeah, because Fury has such an oddball stutter step style.
He does.
It's confusing, and he's got that huge height and reach advantage, so it's going to make it tough, but look at the heart. You get towards the top of this list, and it's guys that have giant hearts and refuse to lose.
Especially Usyk, and I'll get to Usyk in a second, but so what are we at now? So my number 2?
You're number 3.
My number 3? Oh, no, I just did Bud. So I'm at my number 2. You just did your number 3.
My number 2 is Bud Crawford.
Yeah, your number 2 is Bud Crawford. Wait. I got to say my number 2 is Inoue.
Okay.
And then,
Okay.
My number 2 is Inoue, and then yours is Bud Crawford. So, Naoya Inoue, I feel like his resume isn't what it could be, but that's not his fault because I feel like the guys in his weight divisions, and we don't watch a lot of Inoue fights because it's so early in the morning.
Hard to catch him.
The last one I did see because it was in the U.S., but yeah, Inoue fights. Naoya Inoue has just destroyed competition. He's went from 107 pounds to 122 now and just destroyed everyone in his path. And you can see that he's having trouble a little bit with the weight because in like his past couple fights, he's been dropped a couple times, but he comes back and knocks the guy out. Inoue is special, and I feel like by the end of his career, I think he's going to be one of the best fighters of all time. I think he's only like 32, maybe. I could be wrong. I think he's like maybe 31, 32.
Something like that.
Yeah, but Inoue he's incredible. Just the body shots, the skills. I think the Stephen Fulton fight was one of the best performances I've ever seen in boxing. That was the same week as...
Yeah, you were picking...
I was picking Fulton. That's one of the worst picks I've ever had. I was watching it thinking, this is crazy, because Fulton recently looked amazing in his comeback against Brandon Figueroa, like a second time. So, I was shocked. But, okay, your number 2 is Bud Crawford. What do you want to say about Bud?
Well, as you get to the top of my list, it's people that have heart and killer instinct. Bud and Inoue have killer instinct like nobody else in the sport at this point. If he weakens somebody or hurts them,
you're done.
Crawford and Inoue are going to get the stretcher on.
So that's your number 1, Inoue.
Inoue's my number 1. Bud's my number 2.
And Usyk's my number 1. So what do you want? Okay, so let's talk about Crawford, So we are talking about Crawford really. So is there anything else you want to say about Inoue recently? Or like, not what recently, so what do I talk about? Is there anything you want to say about Inoue?
I liked him from the start. I picked him to be a superstar as soon as I saw him. I mean, his power is absolutely incredible for a little guy. You know, I remember watching when I was a kid, Danny Red Lopez.
Danny Red Lopez?
Yeah, he was probably 120 pounds, and he was knocking everybody out. You don't see that in that weight class.
Mm.
More so now that there's better nutrition and better training. But I like everything about him anyway. He's got a great attitude. He's confident. He's fast. He's a little careless. You know, he's been knocked down a few times, so that makes me a little nervous. But I don't think anybody's going to beat him.
That's a good point. I think he'll retire probably before he gets beaten, because I feel like if he goes up to fight like 135, well, that's weight. He's not going to go up that high. He's not going to go up 13 pounds. I think he said like 122 is his last class, so he might go up to 126. But I feel like 126 and below, no one can really mess with Inoue. I don't think anyone can beat him.
Can't imagine.
I can't imagine either.
Some new superstar freak will come out.
No, I don't think so.
Or something, but
I don't think so. I don't think anyone's going to beat Inoue. I mean, if he decides to, but I think I know he's smart not to go up to like 130. 130 is not even that stacked right now, but I mean, so that's why I don't think anyone can beat like Inoue. But my number one is Alexander Usyk. I feel like his resume right now is just absolutely like, if I'm checking box check real quick, I can just read off the names that he's beaten. I feel like Usyk does have the best resume in boxing, even though he stayed at only 2 weight divisions and he's at the max right now. Look, he beat Tyson Fury twice, Daniel Dubois. He's fighting Dubois again this month, or next month. Anthony Joshua twice, Derek Chisora, Murat Gassiev when they're undefeated, Meredith Bradis undefeated, Michael Hunter undefeated. Usyk is just so special, and the thing that I think is so amazing about Usyk is his rhythm. If he gets in a rhythm, it's so hard to get out of. I noticed that in the second Tyson Fury fight, like the first 3 rounds, it was really Fury like trying not to get in the rhythm, that because I feel like Usyk doesn't make a lot of changes in his fights. I don't feel like, look at a guy like Bud Crawford, he'll adjust, but look at a guy like Usyk, I feel like he doesn't really even adjust. He just fights one way, and he's so hard to beat like that.
And he's got such stamina.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I feel like the only guy that can beat him right now is Ajit Kabayel due to styles and due to body shots. But that'll be a good fight. I don't think he's going to fight Kabayel. I think Usyk will retire undefeated. I think Inoue's going to retire undefeated. I think Crawford's going to retire undefeated. And, yeah, that's our pound-for-pound list.
Yeah, when Usyk comes to battle, and if he feels it, if he says, I'm very feel. Oh, he makes me smile. Just thinking about it. He got a great sense of humor. He's brilliant. He's determined. He's disciplined. He can probably fight as long as he wants, but he's not likely to get hit by a stray shot. I mean, his defense is so good.
I think what really impressed me, even though it wasn't against, we saw the one gripe people have was the low blow against Dubois, that he stayed in the ground for so long. I think it was probably a clean body shot. You could say it was a low blow. I feel like if they ruled it as a low blow, he would have gotten up. But there's so many stupid people that are saying, Usyk should have lost by KO. That's stupid.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have lost by KO. But the thing that surprised me so much about Daniel Dubois was I saw how hard he hit against Joshua. Just demolished Joshua. And then the way Usyk handled Dubois with ease in that fight, besides that one little low blow, he didn't have any issues. So that's what really impressed me. If he looks great again next month against Dubois, I'll be so impressed.
If we've learned anything from watching Joshua, he's got a weak chin.
Yeah.
He's been taken out miserably by, who's the Mexican to be?
Andy Ruiz.
Andy Ruiz. He shouldn't have won that fight.
Yeah.
You know,
that was a fluke. That was a fluke, but still, he shouldn't have. Yeah.
But then you came back and Usyk knocked him out. And
Usyk beat him. Usyk did knock out Joshua.
Knocked him, or beat him.
Yeah,
and,
twice.
Who am I going for here? Dubois.
Yeah.
Knocked him out. He should retire.
You think Joshua should retire?
I think he should retire. He can make a lot of money still, but he's getting hurt.
Yeah. But yeah, that's our pound for pound list. Let me give a quick recap so we can give our list. I got number 10, Junto Nagatani. Number 9, Boots Ennis. Number 8, David Benavidez. Number 7, Canelo Alvarez. Number 6, Jesse Rodriguez. Number 5, Artur Beterbiev. 4, Dmitry Bivol. 3 Terrence Crawford, 2 Naoya Inoue, and 1 Alexander Usyk. And you want to give yours?
Sure. Number 1, I got Inoue.
Or are you doing it backwards? Wait,
Okay,
yeah, I'll go from 10.
From 10, we've got Bakram
Murtazaev.
Murtazaev.
Yeah,
I'll
there you
get
go.
that name. Great fighter, great future. And I've got Canelo Alvarez. For the last time, I promise this is the last time he'll be on my pound for pound list.
Awesome.
And I got the rising Virgil Ortiz.
Yes, sir.
Got Bam Rodriguez, who we've seen
Many
live,
times.
and gotta like him. I don't like him if he goes up to fight in a way, but he's a great fighter at his weight. Benavidez. You're thinking of Wilfred Benavent, or Wilfred Benitez. You're thinking of Benitez. Yeah.
Then you got 5 Beterbiev.
Yep, 5 is Beterbiev. Then I got 4 Bivol. I would have had it 4 Beterbiev and 5 Bivol, but Jack's been pounding me because Bivol happened to win the last one. But can't wait to see that rematch. 3, I got Usyk. 2, I got Bud. Hope to see him knock out Canelo in this match that's coming up.
We're gonna try to go to it.
And number 1, Inoue.
Yes, sir. That was great. We nailed that. Would y'all? He did good. He did good. This is just my first time ever doing a video with my dad.
Little flop sweat, but I'll get used to it.
No, you were great. You were great. So that's our pound for pound list as of June 27th, 2025. I'll just say July though. Be sure y'all follow on Twitter, JackAlter0. I'm still working on getting my Instagram back, JackAlter_. But I think in the end I'll get it back. But be sure to subscribe. What do you think about the video between me and my dad? Much love, guys. Anything you want to say?
No, great to be out there talking to you guys. Hope to see you soon.
Yes, sir. All right. Take care, y'all. God bless.